I am Karl Gevorgian, a web developer and online teacher. I'm here to help you learn MySQL, the most popular open source database in the world. MySQL is trusted by tech giants like Google, Facebook, and many others. That's why learning SQL is not just a good idea, it's an essential skill if you're trying to find a job in tech. You probably heard the call for everyone to learn how to code, but increasingly people are saying that everyone should learn SQL. But why? MySQL is at the core of countless applications and websites you're using daily. The fact that tech giants rely on MySQL speaks volume about its importance. It's the database system behind the science of your favorite services. So the main question is why we should learn SQL. You should learn SQL because it's a valuable skill that can open doors to a wide range of jobs, from data analyst and data administrator to web developer and business intelligence. Many employers seek SQL proficiency, making it a practical choice for career growth. Moreover, having SQL as a skill will make you stand out from competition in job market. SQL is known for its ease of learn and understanding. It's a good choice for beginners and solid investment in your future. So welcome to MySQL, and let's dive in and uncover the magic of SQL together. Hi, my name is Karl Gevorgian, and I'm excited to welcome you to MySQL. In this course, I'll be guiding you to mastering MySQL. Whether you are an experienced programmer or a beginner exploring the world of database, or somewhere in between, this course is designed to help you harness the power of SQL and MySQL. We will start with basics and gradually move into more advanced topics, all while keeping things simple and easy to understand. By the end of this course, you will have the skill and knowledge to confidently work with database. So let's get started. Before we start learning anything in SQL, I want you to have a good understanding what is a database and how do we use it. A phone book is a good example of a database. In the phone book, we have the table of contacts. We have the columns, name, phone number, and address, and we have rows. Imagine a database as a phone book. Very big phone book with the millions and millions of contacts that you can have inside. And the SQL is the language that we use to communicate with our data and request specific information from our data. Let's imagine that we have an actual phone book that the people used to use with a couple of 100 pages. And let's imagine we have the same phone book as a digital database. And let's say you were given a task to find a specific person in that phone book. Okay, the first thing we would do in a physical phone book is start turning the pages until we find the table of contacts. Then we would probably start looking at the name column. And from there we would look at each row until we found our person. Now let's look at our phone book database. So in databases we have tables, we have columns, and we have rows. So same as the physical phone book. So the steps are similar. We would use SQL to give our database instructions on how to find the person that we are looking for. You should understand that everything we use in the internet have some sort of database connected to it. So there is a database somewhere with the table name users, and there is a column called usernames with your name inside of it. Every time you sign up to a website or a service, your data is being added to their database. So let's say you have an Amazon account. Your name, your phone number, your address, what items you have ordered, your card information is stored on a database somewhere in the world on a hard drive. And using SQL, Amazon can very quickly access that information and retrieve it back and display it to you on their website. And every time you order something, they use SQL to add the new information to that hard drive. Using SQL, they can insert information to that database, retrieve information from data, update the existing information that you have. Let's say you decide to change your password, they can just update the existing data using SQL. And they can also delete information. Let's say if you decided to remove your card information from their website, they should probably run delete query to completely remove your card information from their database. In the upcoming lectures, we are going to learn how to create database from scratch, how to insert new data to our database, how to read from our database, and how to update the existing data that we have, and how to delete the data that we no longer need. Believe me, SQL is really easy to learn if you understand the logic behind it. And before we finish, I just want to say thank you for learning SQL with me. In this lecture, we are going to install MySQL on Windows. In this lecture resources, you will find the link for MySQL, and I want you to find it and click on it. Okay, so once we are on this page, we're gonna scroll a little bit down, and we are going to press the download MySQL installer link. In this page, we want to press the first download button. On this page, we don't have to log in or sign up. We just want to press no thanks. And after pressing it, we should see the installer. If you don't see it, make sure you don't have any ad blockers enabled, or just reload the page or give it just a little bit of time. Once the download is complete, we want to open the installer. In this page, we don't want to change anything. We are going to leave it as developer default. We are going to press next. On this page, we are going to press execute. It might take some time to download everything. Once everything was downloaded, we want to press next and execute. And once again, after it's done, we press next and next again. On this page, we're not going to touch anything. We're just going to press next. And same for this page, press next. Okay, on this page, we have to create our password. And we press next, next one more time, next again, and let's press execute. Okay, after everything is done, we press finish. Then again, we press next and then finish. Then next again, we're almost done. Okay, in this page, we have to put the password to check the connection with the server. So put the password that you have just created and press check, and we can see connection succeed. Then again, next, execute. Then finish and next one more time. And installation complete. We're done with installing SQL. So you can press finish. So after we're done installing the SQL, it will open the MySQL Workbench, and it's gonna prompt that you put your password. So put the password that you have created. And now we have access to our server. In this course, we are not going to use the Workbench. Instead, we are going to use the command line, because it's better for beginners to start with the command line. Then in the future, you can pick it up, the Workbench, on your own, because it's very easy after you know how to work with the command line and how to type the commands yourself. So let's close the Workbench. So I'm going to click on search and I'm going to type MySQL, and I can see MySQL command line. I'm going to pin it to start, so every time I don't have to search. So when we open MySQL command line, it will always ask me for my password. So make sure you don't forget the password. Once you have entered the password, press enter. Okay, and we can see welcome to MySQL. Let's check that we are indeed connected to SQL. Let's do select 1+1, and we can see the result. Okay, congratulations, you are done installing MySQL. In this course, we are not going to install anything else, so this was the hardest thing that we did. In this lecture, we are going to install MySQL on Mac. So first, we are going to open MySQL website. You're going to have a link in your resources. Then we want to press on downloads. In downloads, we want to scroll down and press on community downloads. Then we want to find MySQL community server. And in this window, we can see the different installers. You have to choose the specific installer that matches your Mac device. And also on top, we have the archives. In the archives, you can find older version of MySQL. Maybe you don't want to update your OS system, so you can just download the older version. But make sure you download the correct installer, otherwise you're going to have issues with installing MySQL. Okay, after we have downloaded the installer, when we try to open, it's going to give us warning that it's have to be a trusted source. In my case, I can just press allow. In other cases, you have to go to settings, then security and privacy, and at the bottom you're going to have the name of the software and you can allow it from here. Once we are in the installer, we want to press continue, then continue again, then we want to agree with the terms, then we want to press install, and it's gonna ask for your Mac password. Once the install is done, we want to press next. Then it's going to ask you to put the password for root user. So the root user is the main user. So you want to create a strong password. Make sure that you don't forget that password. So just create the password and press finish. And then it's going to ask for your Mac password one more time. Okay, and we are done installing MySQL. You can press close. Then we want to open the settings, and at the bottom you're going to see MySQL logo, so press on that. Then we can see active instances on the left, and if it shows green, it means everything is okay, you were successful. If it shows red, maybe you have installed a version that doesn't match with your Mac OS. Then we want to press initialize database. It's going to ask the password that we have created for the root user. So enter that password and press OK. And after that, it's going to ask for your Mac password. And then we want to press start MySQL server. And once again, your Mac password. And now we have our own server. So we can now access it and work on it. Now we want to open our terminal. Every time we want to access our server, we have to use this specific command. So I'm going to provide this command in our resources so you can just copy and paste. After we have entered the command, it's going to ask us for password. You want to put the root password for MySQL and press enter. Okay, congratulations, you have created and accessed your own server. In the future, the process is going to be the same. Every time you want to access your server, you have to put that specific command and put the root password to access your server. In this course, we are going to do all the work in the terminal. But if you want, you can download the Workbench for MySQL. I'm going to leave the link of where you can download it, but I don't suggest you using Workbench because for beginners, it's always better to work in the terminal so you can learn how to write the code and learn on your own mistakes.